Hello everyone, Enda here. Just doing a quick little video on the Scythe. I've been playing it for the last week or so. And first person I get, I've fought them a couple of times before I actually started recording. Figured there was some good people on, might be a fun time to actually show it off. It's Rob from PSN Cord. So the Scythe is, I didn't rank it particularly high on my tier list for a very simple reason, which will become glaringly obvious later on. It's incredibly reactable, which is a huge issue for setups. If they don't have any unreactables, you're kind of in trouble. The thing it does have in its benefit is its crouch R1 into standing R1 mix-up, which I think is it's kind of neat. It's a neat little setup. So in other words, basically the idea is that you crouch R1, and then when they try and jump, use standing R1. So you can play quite cool. You can do kind of cool little mix games like that. Of course, as well as that, the run R1 is incredibly strafable. We catch him here again, catching that there. That's what he's supposed to do. I didn't think he'd go for it again that time, but he did. So we take those. We take those. He does manage to get the bolus off. My swaps are a little bit all over the shop today, unfortunately. Try and catch him with that. We do get the poison. I do try and set up for the bleed proc, and I think I can go for a running attack here. I do fail. Managed to go for that. But yeah, you have a nice little mix game. I expected a bit of counter pressure there. I had gotten a little bit close. Strafing around that there. He's pretty much bleed procced. I think at this point now I swap over to the off dag. I realize that I can just kind of off dagger him. He's going to go for the bleed proc, but I do manage to get my own L1 out. And I think, personally, this is a personal opinion, I have tried with both the shield and the off dag, and I think the off dag, just to try and get those bleed procs, is incredibly strong. Trying to reaction roll a scythe isn't very difficult, but the chip damage you can get off of an off dagger is incredibly useful. But more on the side, because the run R1 is very strafable and it's a great way to close gaps. You of course then who do have the run R2, which as you've seen in those last couple of fights came in very clutch. Run attacks in general do have a habit of being quite, what's the word that I'd use? Having slightly deceptive range. Like myself and Rob there are, I believe it's UK to Ireland. So it does make it incredibly useful. And I go for the dagger hit there, and you see just the bleed build up is absolutely insane. It's very, very strong. And Rob, as I said here, did get me a couple of times before I pressed the start record button. So I don't want to say I just wasn't recording at the time, Rob. Don't worry. I'm not trying to... Oh, look at how good I am in the game. I think he actually gets me later on in this one. I think. Not sure. One of the downsides, of course, of the side, as I said earlier on, is it's so reactable. You can do things to change it. So in other words, you can dead angle the crouch attack to try and really catch people off guard. As well as that, because it has such a long startup and it's standing R1s, it can be hyper armor traded pretty efficiently. This is not hyper armor in and of itself. Unfortunately, this is just what we call in the business a skill issue. See that strafe there? I don't think he even needed to necessarily roll. I tried to catch him there. Thought that would anti-air. I'm forced back now once again. I go back in. Managed to get a little bit of damage here. Standing R1, not going to actually work that time. I try and go for... I'm not entirely sure what I was trying to go for there. Standing R1. Do manage to get the bleed proc. I'm still technically in the game now. Of course, the joys of the CGS having very deceptive range on it has definitely caught me off here. I'm very low. I think he's pretty close to a bleed proc. I could have been wrong there. I'd be actually curious as to see his bar, which is why I switched to the off dag, hoping that I catch him in a little bit of burst, or alternatively just be able to mash on him. It didn't work, unfortunately. I was just too low. I couldn't afford to take another hit. Probably should have gone for a tally swap there. That's just again what we call in the business a skill issue. Cope, Seethe, Mauled. In that order, I do get him again though. I do go for a tasty little bow there. Just manners is manners. He got me the first time. Hit me with the fan dagger. I now reckon that I can just kind of force in a little bit of aggression. Go for that tally swap. Back up to full. He's going to be kind of playing this runaway game into a running R1 to try and catch me out of roll. I go for a run R2 there. It isn't going to be enough. I kind of stutter back expecting him to follow. Run attack there. He strafed it. Again, I don't think he necessarily needed to roll. I'm going to set up for something here. Go for the run R2 to try and catch him off guard. Standing R1. Unfork tried to go for that. He tries to go for the R2, expecting me to try and roll that, but I can just kind of mash out. I seen that he was going for it, and I figured I might as well just stay in. Run attack there. The bleed proc comes through. I'm electing not to go for the tally swaps because he can cover so much ground. Sword Dance comes out there. I managed to go for the bleed. Off dag. Mash it to your heart's content. Unreactable chip. His bleed bar is going to be relatively high. I reckon I can go for it. He has built against the status, but I can get the poison off so quickly that it doesn't really matter all that much. But again, GG's, that's just the nature of the game. Up against this guy here, I can't remember what this guy is using. It's guitars, and I feel like the latency is kind of a little bit bad, so I can't go for the jump out. Which is unfortunate. I tried it there and I managed to get clipped from Hilo. I do jump back there expecting another run attack. I'm just going to get hit here again. That range, it's going to take me a little while to get used to it. Haven't fought someone on this latency. I was actually honestly expecting someone to be going on there. But I'm really being punished here for my decision making. I should be playing an awful lot more careful game. You see that? Jesus. I have EU only on PlayStation when I'm recording these, so it's kind of a bit weird. Thought that might hit, but no, not quite. Off dag comes out and I just end up getting hit by a flaming strike from Kilo. Again, I consider that to be decision making. There was kind of at fault. I think more so than just blame latency. I could have played that an awful lot smarter, played an awful lot more carefully, built up the poison, waited for him to go for a bolus, just over and over again. Now we have Rob again, and I think this is not going to be going quite well for me. The Office is actually an interesting one. I will have to try that out at some point in the near future. Goes for that run attack. I'm going to be hit there. I think that I have the ability to press. I don't. I'm just not quite sure what to do here. Poison's up. Unfork. We get rushed down. GG's, Rob. Vengeance for taking me out early. For me not showing the earlier fights. Unfork. GG's. And now we're looking on here into the next one. So Scythe again, we'll see it much more later on. There's a Shamshir player who I bump into in this little set, who is an absolute treat. He just plays exactly how you're supposed to against a setup like this. Play the long game, go for interrupts, go for I'm forced to trade there again. The super armor on the, I forget the exact stuns. I think it's definitely tier 1 stun. Does I do have immunity from it. It's tier 3 stun, I think, is the one that I don't have immunity from. I go for the R1 roll catch there, and it does manage to catch. If someone panic rolls, Scythe is actually not terrible. If someone plays a very read heavy playstyle and overcommits to, let's say, a strafe, Scythe is actually really good. So you can deceptively say, oh, Scythe is really good. Not quite. Murdoch here. Hello, Murdoch. It doesn't have the damage, the raw damage output, and even if I am on this, I think it's like 57 Arcane or something like that, 14 Dex int. Try and go for that. I was full sure that was going to land. Force back now. Stutter step away. I think I can trade with that. I really can't. He goes for that trade. I think I was aim punched there. That was funky. Go for that. I do manage to hit him standing R1 then again to build up that poison. He has been poisoned now, but I have to play super careful. He's going to be playing for that trade. I try and trade with the off dag expecting him to roll, but he doesn't. I should really not have overextended there, and I just end up walking into a straight sword. Again, decision making, more so than the setup. But even so, you can kind of see that people with faster movesets don't really have to respect you all that much. You don't have the raw damage. You're not able to cover the same amount of ground that something like a halberd is able to cover. And even a CGS, you can catch people off for a couple of stocks with, let's say, that funky spacing that you have to have against it, as well as that being able to swap over to hyper armor. You can catch people off this with the super armor. Those trades into that, I don't know why I'm trading into this. I think I'm just having a bit of a, what they call in the business, a moment. Go for that, force out the roll there. Go for this, just to trade, catch him there with that, and the bleed proc gets the win for me. More damage up front, as opposed to having people worry about a bleed bar in an arena this size. I would generally go for the damage. There's a reason why I've been maining PSSS quite so frequently lately. And that is just that they have to respect you. They have to go for those rollouts. They can't just stay in. And if I recall correctly, this is the Shamshir player. I'm not sure. No, this is... I think someone in my comments there a while ago did say something along the lines of, "Oh, Gook should be higher tier." No, this is one of the reasons why. You have your Crouch R1 and a Wave Dash. It's pretty good, but no, that's not. I'm afraid not. Managed to catch him there. I managed to even get the interrupt there. I think I could have just switched to dagger and killed him with the dagger. This is nothing to do with the dude. The dude is trying to play a mix-up game. He's trying to press a lot of buttons, but there's one button here on this that's good. He managed to go for a trade. I expect a Crouch R1, but this guy must be a little bit newer. I managed to go for that. Again, reactable, go for the bleed proc, and pop goes the balloon. Yo, GG's. So yeah, Uggs doesn't have a means of really pressuring someone who doesn't want to be hit. And even though I have very similar issues, I can still do things on this, like angling my Crouch R1 to attack earlier or later, depending on what happens. So, you know, you do have an awful lot of options available to you. And I think this is another Gugs player. I still don't to this day understand why Gugs is as popular as it is. I understand once upon a time it was like super meta, but I don't know, whatever. See this here, I can just pressure him. I can go for a standing R1 out of hit stun as well, which I can just space this out. I catch him with a crouch attack. Go for another one just in case he starts it up. He goes for that swing. I'm thinking about going for swaps, and I can just bleed proc him here. He can't really do very much. I switch back over here because he's more or less dead. I'm darting out there. And he goes for Flame Cleanse me. I don't know why he didn't go for a Bolus. A Bolus, I think, is quicker. Okay, GG so. I'm trying to think what else do I have to say about this, about kind of the Scythe. You have to be careful about people going for strafes and stuff like that. That's a huge one. And I think this is our sheer user. Yeah, I was really impressed with this dude. He played well. He didn't allow me to do any of my shenanigans. He baited out attacks here. I go for a running attack from Kilo. I have no idea how that attack landed. That's some Miyazaki's blessing here. He calls out the run R2. I was expecting him to maybe go for a strafe. I didn't switch to Bull Goats here. I realized much later on that I should have, and there we go. Standing R1 there from Kilo. He can just go for these jump attacks. I don't know why I didn't figure out the spacing for them. It's kind of a weird one for me. They usually midway through a set I'll kind of figure out what's going on and go, okay, I just need to roll that. And we do manage to get a little bit of damage off on him. I'm playing this here. He goes for the strafe, gets the bleed proc. I have no idea how I managed to survive that. He's going to go for another one. I'm not entirely sure why I get hit by those things. And we managed to catch him. He played that well. He punished me for my mistakes over and over again. And I just wasn't in a position where I was able to, for whatever reason, just figure out what he needed to do. So GG's to that dude. He got me super, super low. Status, of course, made a difference there. He was forced in a position where he had to go for a Bolus or no. But yeah, I think he gets me on this one. I'd be shocked if he doesn't go for the poison proc here. He immediately goes in for a punish there. I was tempted to go over for the swap here, but my menuing just isn't on point today. Managed to get that punish there. The Bolus was not for free. I'm stuck in menus. I'm getting sword danced here from Kilo. I don't know what I'm doing, and I realize that I've made the wrong swap here. I don't know if it's a force of habit thing. Sometimes I feel I'm doing fine. I think he styles on me here. Goes for that running attack. Just about managed to mess that up. I'm on 1 HP and I believe in a dream here. And the style comes out. Standing R1 comes out there. I do manage to roll that. He should have killed me there by rights. I'm dead to rights there, and I don't know why I got away with that one. Force back. Get that stutter step spacing here. He sees it coming. And that's where we'll finish out. He's played about as you should against this. Fair play to him. GG's WPs. And ladies and gents, I'll probably see you all tomorrow, but we'll just have a quick peek over the build. This is just what I figured out was probably the better way of doing it. There I am, look at me, look at him, so pretty. There you go, little bow, oh my god, bestie, so cute. But yeah, I don't think this is a particularly good setup. It's a fun setup for sure. 57, 19 decks with the ring on, I believe. And then 14. I think you get decent returns up until about 19, but I still think you get more returns off of Arcane on the occult. Your mileage may vary depending on what you use in this build. I think it needs the occult to get that extra status pressure, and also get fairly decent damage. That poison proc in 2 is huge, and you can swap it out for a bunch of stuff. But yeah, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks a million for joining. It's been unreal. Like, subscribe, do all of that shenanigans. And I'll see you all another time. Bye.